Hello everyone, Justin Hunt here from Ens Auto, and I have a special treat for you today. I'm going to go through an in-depth, detailed walkthrough on the all-new, freshly designed 2018 Toyota CHR. Now this model is the XLE Premium trim level, which means it comes with a few aesthetic features as well as a few safety features upgraded from the standard XLE model. First thing you'll notice right off the bat are these 18-inch alloy wheels that come on the premium model only. Another new feature on the 2018 CHR are their automatic power folding mirrors that you can adjust inside the vehicle. But one cool feature is when you approach the car and hit the unlock button, mirrors actually retract or detract from the vehicle. And if it was dark enough in here to see, you would notice that it actually projects the Toyota CHR logo directly on the ground below you. Moving to the inside of the vehicle, you'll notice right on the door panel you've got all your standard window, lock, mirror controls, all power, and on the CHR specifically, all four windows are automatic up and down. You've got your window lock button as well as your automatic mirror retraction button, so you can actually set it to stay closed, open, or automatic based on the door being locked or unlocked and the vehicle being occupied. Then you've got your standard mirror controls just to the right of that button as well. So we're going to move across the dash here. Start on the bottom. So just below you've got your gas release as well as your gauge dimmer. Moving up a little bit, we've got an automatic high beam button. So that button is actually very useful. Comes standard with all TSS equipped vehicles, that's Toyota Safety Sense. And what it does is it senses a vehicle headlight coming towards you and disables your high beams just so you're not blinding other drivers on the road. Moving up, you'll notice on the light control button or switch here, we do have automatic headlamps on here as well. And we're gonna just breeze over the infotainment system until later on. So moving across the steering wheel, we've got all of your audio controls on the left side. So the mode button actually controls whether or not you want to listen to CD, AM, FM, AHA, Bluetooth. We've got the disconnect and reconnect buttons for the phone, as well as our voice dialing or direct by voice button. On the other side of the steering wheel, we've got the trip button, which is located just at the top there, and that controls when your trip display shows at the bottom. We've also got a back button, so that will take you back to the previous screen when you're controlling the infotainment system with these buttons right here. And later on, I'll show you how that affects the display in the center there. Moving down a little further, we've got the buttons for lane departure alert, so that's how you can adjust your settings with that, as well as radar cruise, and then your cruise switch is located right below. Now, one cool feature about the Toyota Safety Sense P and C, on select models anyway, you've got the dynamic radar cruise button, which essentially just controls the speed of your vehicle relative to the distance of the vehicle that you're following in front. So we can get a little more into detail there, but that's not something we're going to touch on today. Moving over a little further, we're going to start at the top here. So we've got our head unit there, nice little touchscreen setup. Over here, we've got our panic button, our hazard button right in the center. On the left side, you'll notice the heated seat control for the driver. And there's an identical button on the right side for the passenger. And then we've got our different climate control options. Now, this vehicle is equipped with dual zone climate control. So when we turn the vehicle to the on mode here, you'll notice that you can actually control each zone independent of one another. You can have it automatically regulate temperature, or you can set fan speeds yourself. It's totally a personal preference at that point. One other thing I want to point out very quickly is this Eco Heat Cool function here as well. Basically what that does is it just limits fuel consumption and optimizes it so that you're not using excess fuel if you don't need to keep the vehicle either hot or cold in the winter or summer. Moving down a little further, we've got another storage cubby located on the bottom and our auxiliary jack as well as USB inputs. Moving a little further down, you've got your shifter controls, which are very similar to most Toyotas with manual sequential shift mode just to the left of the drive mode there. And this is a CVT equipped transmission, which just means there are simulated shift points as opposed to set gear ratios, obviously for fuel efficiency there as well. Moving down a little further, this is one of the first vehicles that I've seen from Toyota that has a electronic parking brake equipped. Now, when you put the vehicle in park, it actually engages that brake, just putting less strain on the drivetrain components when you're, say, parked on a steady incline or decline. One thing I can note is you can actually set the electronic parking brake separately if you wanted to do so, and to release it, you just push down. To set it, you press up. But your foot does have to be on the brake to use that function. Right below there, We've got hill hold control. Basically what that means is if you're parked or you're stopped on a hill, you press that button and it'll prevent your vehicle from rolling backwards. And our traction buttons as well for stability control as well as traction control. So you'll see that we've got our mirror located right there, and it is an auto-chromatic rear view mirror, which means it'll automatically dim based on headlights being right behind you. Right above that, we've got our map light controls as well as our door light controls, so you can set this to actually turn on when the doors open or disable it entirely. And then these buttons individually control the lights on their own for each side. Right above that, commonly asked question, that's actually one of the microphones for your hands-free dialing. Cool feature I always like to point out in the CHR here is if you notice, it's very hard to see on the camera lens, but you'll notice these diamond patterns inlaid in the headliner. And essentially what that is just signifying that this whole vehicle is actually designed after the shape of a diamond. Into the back seat again, you've got your controls on the door for your automatic up and down on the windows. And on the door panels, you'll notice that they actually went a different route than the fabric this time around and gave you this almost diamond pattern carbon fiber looking material. Very aesthetically pleasing. This camera really doesn't do it justice. All right, so moving into the vehicle, you'll see more of that diamond pattern on the door trim, as well as near the airbag sensor here, or the airbags itself. Very, very self-explanatory back here. You've got your center console, plenty of legroom. Most people can fit in here quite comfortably, and the roofline may slope quite aggressively, but this does have substantial headroom. Up top here, you'll notice that the seats do fold down. And again, just like every other Toyota, or most Toyotas I should say, it is a standard 60-40 split. All of our Toyota vehicles are equipped with child anchors as well. All right, so moving to the back of the vehicle, your trunk release just located under there. I'm gonna pull the hatch down a little just so you can see where the backup camera is actually located. And I'll show you later that that actually appears in the mirror of the vehicle. So in the back, pretty standard as well. You've got your child anchors on both sides. All vehicles from Toyota come with a set of all-season mats as well as the carpet mats. In the back of the CHR, there are cargo anchors located on all 4 points, as well as a tonneau cover equipped with every vehicle, which you can choose to remove if you want to do so. Lifting up the bottom here, you'll notice that you've got your full size or full diameter temporary spare, little extra storage on the left side there, and then your jack and all your tools on the right side. The front passenger, again, just your standard controls on the door there. Move over to the glove box, and it's very hidden in this vehicle, which I find is kind of a nice feature. The actual handle itself is just a button located underneath, so you press that, and the entire thing drops down. Plenty of storage in there, and then you've got even more storage in your center stack there as well. Passenger side, you've got a 6-way adjustable seat, which is not very common in this type of vehicle. So you've got your tilt function back here, and then you've also got a manual control to lift or lower the seat, and then your standard slider on the front as well. Talk a little bit about the infotainment system. It is a carryover from 2016, but it does have all your standard features, Bluetooth connectivity, audio streaming, and it also has what's called AHA Radio built in, which is a smartphone app that you pair with your phone. You can listen to podcasts, live streams, satellite radio in some cases. None of the Sirius stations are built into this, but it does have quite a bit of functionality. You can connect a USB device, your iPod, your iPhone, your Android device, whatever you desire. Plenty of settings to choose. You can customize this however you like, really. So we'll just start with display, and you can see mainly just more functionality than anything else than aesthetics. And you can actually adjust the voice controls as well. So we're gonna move over to the center info system here. Now, this is totally customizable in many ways, but it is preset by Toyota for most people. And I find that generally speaking, there's not a whole lot that you can really change that will optimize this much more than it already is. Ignore all the warning lights on the dash right now. I just don't want to start the vehicle. However, I can show you a couple things like your average fuel economy. It does have distance to empty, average speed, and I should note that every time you start the vehicle and shut it off, it will give you an account of that trip. So it'll tell you how long that trip took, how much fuel you used, that sort of thing, that type of information. So this also has a digital speedometer, distance to empty, which is standard on all Toyotas, and it has a G-force monitor. So if you want to take it out and hit the corners quite hard, it'll tell you how many G's you put into it. Driver assist, again, time until rest. I'm not sure exactly the timing on this, but I know it's set so that if it senses you're swerving out of your lane or that you've just been driving too long without taking a break, it'll suggest that you take a break. Moving over, this is your lane departure alert, so we can turn that on or off. It's entirely a preference. And it does have the steering assist, so it'll correct you if it does sense that you're getting out of your lane, which you can disable as well. And this will have your messaging system or your messaging center right located in front of you, easy use. And on the right-hand side here, far right, these are your settings. So you can adjust lane departure settings for sensitivity, alertness, steering assist, you can turn that on or off. Everybody's got their own opinion of it. Personally, I don't like it when it corrects it for me. However, I do like to know when I'm getting out of my lane. This is your pre-collision detection. Again, this is something that you can play around with a little bit. Entirely preference. It really boils down to how much you want the car to intervene when it does assume that you're going to have a collision. It is quite unnerving when the brakes do assist you if it does sense that you're going to be in an accident. But it does give you that extra peace of mind knowing that the car is helping you just as much as you're helping yourself. However, I should note that the pre-collision system is not a substitute for safe driving. Blind spot monitor, again, you can adjust that as well as the rear cross traffic alert, which is, again, when you're in a parking lot, if someone's coming across from either side, the audio system will notify you with a beep, and it'll actually blink on the blind spot monitor located on the mirrors right there to let you know that someone's actually going across. And those will also illuminate when someone's in your blind spot if the system is turned on right here. And then finally, drive mode, where you can adjust from sport to eco to normal mode. I find most people prefer to just leave it in normal mode, but if you know you're going to be driving a little more aggressively, perhaps put it in sport. And if you want to conserve as much fuel as possible, put it in eco. Doesn't change power output by any means, but it does adjust ignition timings and throttle response, because this is a fly-by-wire throttle system, meaning it is not cable driven. So, depending on which vehicle you have, you may also be equipped with a push-button start. On the CHR XLE Premium, it does actually have the push-button start. On the standard XLE models of CHR, it is a standard key style system. So to utilize this, you just push your foot on the brake, which will notify you in the center, and simply press the button and release it. At which point the vehicle will turn on and give you a beautiful little startup screen there, and you'll get right back to where you left off on your last display. I like having a nice digital speedometer right in the middle there, because it just makes it a little easier to keep track of your speed when you're driving down the road. And next, I'm going to take you underneath the hood of the vehicle.
So under the hood, we've got a 2-liter Valvematic Atkinson cycle engine. Produces roughly 144 horsepower, and the fuel economy is outstanding on this vehicle. It's rated in the 6 to 8 range. Just depending on personal driving. I've personally seen anywhere from 4.5 liters per 100 kilometers to 7.8. It really just depends on your personal driving style, but it is a new engine in this vehicle for 2018. One fun fact that I should probably note is that we are actually able to install remote starters in these vehicles already. You'll notice one panel on the right hand side here, which is the driver's side, I should say. That's actually one release for your tow hook. And if we go around to the back of the vehicle, you have one of those located in the lower valence as well. Now going underneath the vehicle, there are 4 pinch welds on all 4 corners of the vehicle should you need to change a tire. So we've got one located right here, and one located right here. And that'll be the same for the other side of the vehicle as well. So it's very important that if you do get into an incident where you do need to raise the vehicle, you jack it up on those points. However, Toyota includes roadside assistance for 3 years, included with every new vehicle purchase, so there's a good chance that you just call a tow truck and get it taken care of for you. Well, thanks again, guys, for taking the time to watch this walkthrough video on the all-new 2018 Toyota CHR. Hope you learned something, but if you have any questions, just let us know.